Hello students, now let us continue the algorithm under the inductive learning. So what is the inductive learning? In a very first algorithm, in a concept learning or in a inductive learning, we have studied Finder's algorithm. The Finder's algorithm, it got its own drawback. What's the main drawback of Finder's algorithm is, it does not address the hypothesis, or it cannot generate a hypothesis to address the negative training example in a given data set. So to overcome the drawback, we have studied that creation of a version space, where inside the version space where is a boundary will be created, that is a specific to general boundary is going to be created. Inside that boundary, a subset of hypotheses are being generated. That hypothesis is going to address both the positive example as well as the negative example. That's the main intention of having this candidate elimination algorithm. So as I said, candidate elimination algorithm is going to use version space, and next it considers both the positive training example as well as the negative training examples. And when we are using this candidate elimination algorithm, it is going to have, we have both the specific and general hypothesis and general hypothesis. Where the specific and general hypothesis, in this very first stage, the most specific hypothesis is going to represent a positive training example, whereas the most generic hypothesis is going to represent a negative training examples. That's what we are going to perform in a candidate elimination algorithm. Before moving into this candidate elimination algorithm example, now let us look at how the candidate elimination algorithm is going to work. Now let us look at this as simple steps of this algorithm. Let us look at the candidate elimination algorithm step by step. So when we are considering candidate elimination algorithm, it represents hypothesis, or it generates hypothesis which can represent for the positive training example and negative training examples. So in a very first stage of candidate elimination algorithm, the first step is we need to create a boundary. That boundary is between the most specific hypothesis to most generic hypothesis. That is, we need to create a boundary. We can say that yes, a most specific hypothesis, always the most specific hypothesis is going to be represented by a phi value, a set of phi, and the most generic hypothesis G is going to be represented by the question mark. You already know from the previous classes, the phi is indicating not accepts any value, whereas the question mark is going to accepts the value. So we need to create a boundary, most specific boundary and the most generic boundary. This is the first step in a candidate elimination algorithm. The next step, according to the algorithm, you should go through the data set, that is capital D. Inside the data set, we will be having number of training examples. We need to check each training examples, what's the target concept. If the target concept is positive, then we try to make it more general from the specific. That's what the first step which we are going to do. See, if E is positive, if example is a positive, we try to move from most specific to generic. That is, whenever the concept target concept is consistent with the hypothesis. That's the one. See here, the steps are given over here. For each hypothesis yes, that is not consistent with D. If it is not consistent with the training example D, during that time remove the specific, that is you remove the most specific and try to make it a maximally specific hypothesis. That is what we are going to do. During that time, the hypothesis must be consistent with the training example D. And also, we are trying out to generalize the most specific to the generalized form during the positive, during whenever we are representing a positive training example. That is what the step which we are going to perform. During the process of addressing positive example, the specific, most specific hypothesis will be growing towards downward and try to formulate into a more general hypothesis. That's what whenever the D is positive. D means the training example is positive. Now, next step is if E, the training example, if it is not positive, if it is negative, that is the target concept of a particular training example is negative. During that time, the next step here which we have to perform here is we should move from generalized to specific. So that's what, make a generalized hypothesis to more specific. So now the version space starts to shrink from down part to upper part. So what happens here is, each and every time it starts to move upward and there is a boundary is going to be created between the newly generated hypothesis, between the most general and the that is maximally general and maximally specific hypothesis. Between these two, there is a boundary, version space boundary is going to be created, and next step is inside that boundary a subset of hypotheses are going to be generated, so that hypothesis is going to address both the positive training example and negative training example. So that's what here. See what happens here in this training example is negative. Training example is negative. It just keeps checks with the training example compared with this general hypothesis and tries to make it a specific hypothesis. That's what is going to be done during the negative training example, when it come across negative training example. So that is the how the candidate elimination is going to work. Now let us look at candidate elimination algorithm with an example. So same example we are considering now, the data set. In a previous class in a finders algorithm, we have considered the Aldo wants to enjoy the water sport. That's the concept. So concept, we know the concept, we have got the data set. So for that same data set, we are going to apply the candidate elimination algorithm, and let us know how the candidate elimination algorithm is going to generate a hypothesis in a version space. So this is the table. In a previous class also we have considered this table. You people know that this table we have considered. The concept of this table here is Aldo wants to enjoy a water sport. So in this example we have got 6 attributes: sky, air temperature, humidity, wind, water, focused. And last target is enjoy. This is sunny value. Next, same, rainy, sunny. Next, air temperature is warm, warm, cold, warm. Next, normal, high, high, high. I'll write it in a short form. Let me complete soon. Wind, wind is strong, so it remains strong for all the training example. Water is warm, 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 cool. At the end it is cool. Next, same, same. Here change, change. And as you know, target concept is yes, yes, no, yes. So now what happens? This is the data set. For this data set, we apply the candidate elimination algorithm. So candidate elimination algorithm is going to represent the positive training example as well as the negative training example. Now let us start. When you start, the algorithm says that we should initialize most specific hypothesis and most general hypothesis. Let us consider the boundary between the most specific hypothesis and the most general hypothesis. That's the first step. So the first step here is we are creating a version boundary. First is S naught is the most specific hypothesis, that is equal to how many attributes are present? 6 attributes are present. So for the 6 attributes, you have to consider the 6 attribute values are being considered here. So 6 5s are being included. This is S naught is a most specific hypothesis. And we need to have the another boundary, because inside this boundary we are trying to creating a version space. Inside the version space we will be generating a set of hypotheses which represents both the positive and negative training example. So first S naught. Now let us have the G naught over here. G naught is equal to, it is the most generic hypothesis. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Now, next step of this candidate elimination is, first thing is we need to check it out the target concept. Now let us look at the enjoy is a target concept. So first one is in this training example, first training example target concept is yes. Yes is indicating the positive training example. So consider this positive training example. This positive training example will be compared with the most specific hypothesis as the same way we have done it in the FIND-S algorithm. So when you compare this first training example attribute value with the hypothesis, there is a no match between the hypothesis and the training value. So we need to, what supposed to we have to be done, the most specific must be moved to the generalized form for this particular data set. So when we are converting this specific to generalized, we are replacing all the values of the phi with the attribute values which is present in the first training example. So we are going to generate another hypothesis that is making into a most specific to the, we are moving down towards the general format or maximally specific format. So, S0 will be replaced by another hypothesis S1 that will be containing attribute values of the first training example: sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, same. This is first S1. But the G0, it's become generalized. We didn't come across negative training example. So G0 will move towards general itself. So G0, the boundary will become G1. G1 is also the same, G0 is also the same. G0, G1 is the same. It is the most general hypothesis. Now, let us move on to the according to the algorithm. Next step is, now this newly generated hypothesis must be compared with the second training example, that is next coming training example. So when it is next coming training example, before moving to this training example, the first step is find out the target concept. So the target concept is yes. Once again we are come across positive training example. So in this case, it must be the hypothesis which is newly generated must be compared with the second training example attributes and try to make it a more generalized than before. So now the next step here is comparing this S1 with the second training example and generating the new hypothesis S2. New hypothesis S2 will be generated. So when it is generating new hypothesis S2, during that time, see, sunny will be compared with sunny, it remains as it is, sunny. Next, just similar to that of Findus algorithm, how we have done it in Findus. Warm will be compared with warm, it remains as it is. Here it is normal, humidity is normal, next step is it is higher. So in the first hypothesis, S1 hypothesis, it is normal, but now in this case it is high. So both are different. So instead of both, we are, it's like we can't write it both the attribute value. So we will make it into a generalized form. So how we can make it into a generalized one? By replacing it by a question mark. Now the next step is strong, strong. It remains as it is. Next, warm, warm, it is also remaining as it is. Next, same, same, that one is also remaining as it is, same. Now we got the S2. But here in generalized form, S2 is also going to remains as it is. G0 will be generalized, G1 is also general form and G2 is also general. So now we have got a version space boundaries between the G2 and S2. But still the data set examples is not completed. Further we need to make a note of third training example. Now let us move on to the third training example. So in the very first stage we check it out, the target concept. So target concept here is no. No indicates the negative training example. So according to the candidate elimination algorithm, if it is no, what we are going to do is, we are making into a general form. It is being compared with the general hypothesis and making into a specific. This general concept must be made to a specific so that it can address the positive training example as well as negative training example. So the next step is G2, how the G2 will change us to G3. Now when we are having G3, the G3 is the hypothesis, where G3 is the hypothesis. G3 is the hypothesis where it is making the more general hypothesis to maximally general hypothesis, or it is making it to a specific hypothesis. General hypothesis is converting into a specific hypothesis by comparing the previous hypothesis generated with the negative training example. So now let us look at here. See, we have got 6 attribute values. The next step here is we need to compare this third training example with the S2, that is hypothesis which has got created. By having this, we need to move from general to a specific hypothesis. Now let us compare over here. See, Sunny is compared with the third example attribute, first attribute value rainy. So what happens here is Sunny is different, rainy is different. If the rainy come across, then it is said to be a negative training example. But we are moving from generic to specific. So what happens here is whenever we are indicating for the negative training example, we should make a note that we should write a question mark with the opposite attribute value which is representing in a positive training examples hypothesis. So what happens here is, here it is rainy, but this is sunny. So what happens here is we are making this question mark to G3. In this G3, we are going to come across a set of hypotheses where it is indicating a specific hypothesis. First, let us consider the attribute value, first attribute value of a third example, which is target concept is negative, no. First one is rainy is there. When you compare with this S2 hypothesis, it is sunny. So rainy will be replaced by the sunny, so that instead of general form we are making into a specific. So sunny and remaining question mark. Okay, next attribute cold is there. Instead of cold, what is their opposite value? Warm is there. So we are going to have question mark warm, question mark 2. That's the another set we are going to form. Now it is question mark and here it is high. So already it is question mark is present. So it will be applicable for both negative and positive training example. No, we don't require another generating another hypothesis in a G3. So next one is strong. Anyhow, strong is present. It's matching. It's not going to create any opposite value in this S2. So it is also not required to have a hypothesis. Next one is here. It is warm is there. Here also warm. So nowhere to generate the next hypothesis. It's not required to generate a new hypothesis because warm is matching with this warm of the negative training example. Next, change is present here in a negative training example, but in S2 same is present. So opposite of that change. So now what we are going to do, we are going to have another set of hypothesis, under the G3, that is the last one, question mark, 5 question mark along with the change. Along with the change. No, change is there, we have to write it same. Because the opposite of the same, we have to mention same. Say like this, we are making one general hypothesis to the specific hypothesis by comparing the third example with the S2 hypothesis, newly generated hypothesis, and we try to write a opposite value, attribute value of the given negative training example. That we have done it over here. Next, the S2, S3 is going to remains as it is. S2 is equal to S3, that S3 remains as it is. Next, move on to the next training example, that is the fourth training example. The candidate elimination algorithm repeats the step. First step is it checks for the target concept. The target concept here is positive. So, now if it is positive, then this positive training example will be compared with the S3. S2 is equal to S3. So, S3 will be compared with the fourth training example and generate the new hypothesis. So, S4 is going to be generated. When S4 is generated, Sunny of hypothesis will be compared with the Sunny of a fourth training example attribute value. Sunny remains as it is. Warm remains as it is. Question mark is going to remains as it is. Strong, and it is also strong remains as it is. Now, there is a change here. Warm, but here it is cool. So, warm is there and it is cool here. It's changed. So, when it is changed, so that will be replaced with the question mark. So, now we are replacing the question mark. Next step here is same, and here it is change. So, that will be, we are going to make it a question mark. That will become the S4. So, now what happens here is, see, we have got two question mark. This is going to get a S4. Now, let us move to the G4. When you look at this G4, so G4, what happens here is, we are going to, when we come across this training example, this particular hypothesis, see, we retain the Sunny question mark warm, we retain it, but here what happens here is same is present, but here we have replaced with the question mark. So, question mark indicate it can be a change or a same. So, further we are generalizing by removing this particular hypothesis, and we create a boundary, version boundary of general G4 by considering only these two training example. Sunny question mark. Next it is question mark warm question mark. So, now this is what the version space boundary. So, the boundary is S4 and G4 is a boundary where we are going to have a set of hypotheses inside the version space are going to be generated. By using G4 there is a 2 hypothesis and S4 there is a 1 hypothesis. By using these two boundaries, a set of hypotheses are going to be generated. When we create a set of hypotheses, where this set of hypotheses can address all the unobserved positive training example, and then it can classify or it can predict properly the unobserved training example. So, how we there is a hypothesis which is going to be created by using these boundaries, or these are the hypotheses we can create. Here is Sunny question mark strong question mark. Next one is, see here, Sunny common, okay, question mark, we are having the strong question mark, okay. The next one is Sunny warm, sunny warm question mark question mark question mark question mark. Next one is we can now create question mark warm comma question mark strong comma question mark question mark. These are the hypotheses, set of hypotheses which we can create between the version space boundaries. Here the G4 and S4 is acting like a boundary. Inside that boundary we try to get this hypothesis and try to create a hypothesis which can address positive and negative training examples. That is how the candidate elimination is going to work. The same thing is going to be implemented in your second lab cycle program. First step is you should know what is inductive learning. See, inductive learning is to predict. Inductive learning is predict. So what you should predict? We should classify an unobserved example into a particular class. Either it can be a positive class or it can be a negative class. So now let us move on to the inductive bias. So what inductive bias here is, whenever we are creating a hypothesis based on the training example, so there may be a wrong prediction because the unobserved training example, if you come across, if the hypothesis is not going to address properly the unobserved examples, during that time there may be a wrong prediction. So to overcome this, we should have a biased learning must be done. So before that, we will take an example how the inductive bias is going to be performed. So that is, it's not been biased like inductive bias with an example, and then we can move on to the unbiased learner. How we can have the unbiased learner. So now let us move on to the simple example. See, they have taken the same enjoy sport concept, and then they have been having another data set. So in this data set, what happens here is the sunny will be replaced by a cloudy. So if sunny is replaced by a cloudy, then the target concept is yes, even there is a cloud, the person who wants to enjoy a water sport, he can enjoy because there is no rain at all. So he can enjoy the water sport even though it is a cloudy. So here what happens, in the place of cloudy, in an attribute, in the sky attribute, there is a cloudy. If it is cloudy, he can play the water sport, and if he is sunny, he can also play the water sport. But when it is rainy, he can't play the water sport. So here what happens, when you are generating a hypothesis in a generalized form, what happens here is these two are cloudy and sunny is acceptable. So what when having the hypothesis, we are going to replace this cloudy sunny with a question mark, and other attributes may be present, warm, normal, strong, whatever it is, it can be present. So here what happens, there is a contradictory statement is going to given rise. So that, see, if it is question mark, it can also address for the negative training example. So if it is a rainy, the inductive learning drawback, we should generate a hypothesis in such a way that it should be giving a proper result for the unobserved training example. So that reason let us look at a unbiased learner, how we can have an unbiased learner. Remember that conjunction of attributes are giving rise to a hypothesis, whereas few hypotheses are generated which leads to a disjunctive of a attribute values. So that is one thing. Now let me address this. To have an unbiased learner, so we need to create a hypothesis, that is in a hypothesis space H. In a hypothesis space H, we need to create every possible hypothesis that can address all the concepts which is going to be present in a given data set. And next, the instances, we should have a prior knowledge that how many instances can be created for a given attribute values. So in our case, in this example, we have seen that there is 6 attributes are there. Inside the 6 attribute, each attribute, that is a first attribute sky is contain 3 attribute values and remaining contains 2 attribute values. So in total we can generate a 96 instances can be created, that is in a instance space X, capital X, where it can generate a small x, that is number of instances x1 to xn instances can be created, that is 96 instance can be created. And we should have a knowledge that based on the instances how many hypotheses can be generated in a hypothesis space, so that it can address the unobserved training example. So total we can have 973 conjunctive hypothesis. Conjunctive means it's a combination, it's having the attribute values, that is conjunction of those attribute values. By having those we can generate a 973 hypothesis can be generated. So now the next we are going to study how we can generalize, means how the hypothesis can be chosen for the next training example. So next coming examples. So unobserved example, how we can choose it. So like what happens here is, whenever we need to choose the hypothesis, new hypothesis for the unobserved data, the first step is we should check it out whether the unobserved data is going to be a combination of multiple instances. For example, we should check it out. For example, it is yes. Yes is equal to x1 and x2 and x3. If a new hypothesis come across, means not sorry, if a new unobserved example come across, we need to check that particular example or unobserved data where it can be belongs to the any of the instances of a given training example. So it's a combination of x1, x2, x3. Now check it out whether x1, x2, x3 is belongs to a concept yes or no. Now that is what the positive. Yes is indicating for the positive example, and G is another boundary we are going to create. See, because these are the two boundaries which we are going to represent. We are representing yes boundary and G boundary. Where G boundary is going to be created, that G boundary which is representing a not x4 and x5. So if the unobserved training example, if it is it should be lies between the G boundary and S boundary and tries to find out the matching between the hypothesis which is generated between the S and G boundary and tries to predict whether it's a positive training example or it is a negative training examples. So that is what, how we are going to generate a, how we are going to predict an unobserved training example or unobserved data is been predicted and predicted as a positive or a negative training example. So that's all, like how the unbiased learner is going to perform its operation.